We look to the heavens for hope, guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness. It is from that star that our very molecules are born, boundless and bright. That mighty star commands a universe of stars that bear witness to our history and are attached to our ideas of the future. In these stars, we find our beginnings. In these stars, we learn of our endings. We look to the heavens for hope, guidance in a world of uncertainty. Within our universe, a mighty star shines bright over us and reflects itself to enlighten our darkness.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of In the Stars with Dwayne. And it is February 2023, and there's a lot going on. February is turning out to be one of the most exciting months of the last 12 months, and it's all mostly to do with the moon. But as you can tell from my shirt today, I'm wearing my midnight green because I am near Philadelphia. And if you are near or in Philadelphia and you're not wearing your Eagles green, then you must be a glutton for punishment. So I'm just being careful just in case. But yeah, so February and the moon is kind of wild. We're going to get into that. The most interesting thing, and the reason I brought up the Eagles and the green is because there's a green comet that's passing by our planet. And it's funny because, well, it's interesting because you know the other comets that are very famous. There was Halley-Bopp in 1997, and then C 2022 F3 in 2020. That's the most recent one. And both of those come around Halley-Bopp every 6,900 years, and the C 2022 every 2,400 years. This new green comet that's coming around, which is called C 2022 E3, has a 50,000 year path. That's right. The last time that this comet came around was in the Stone Age. So this means very interesting things astrologically. That means that things that you would not expect to be happening are happening these days, and they're gonna be happening. Um, it's it's a time to really look at those things that you really wish that you could have or do in your life, but you just would never think that it would happen. Now is the time to put forward those ideas and to really understand what it's all about. In our last episode, we talked a lot about manifestation. This is also a big time of manifestation. We start out the month of February in Aquarius, but toward the middle of the month, we go into Pisces. And Pisces is the sensitive, intuitive sign, and it's all about creating your reality, make things happen. So between this comet coming by and our going into the sun sign of Pisces, it is a very magical and manifestation rich period. Now, with the moon, in astrology, the moon, the meaning of the moon in astrology is the mother. It represents our intuitive nature, deep within our subconscious, what we believe that we deserve, what we're hoping for, our deepest wishes, and comfort and safety in ourselves. So it's all that stuff that has to do with the mother energy. Well, this month, on the 4th, a very interesting thing happens is that the moon is at its furthest distance from the Earth. That's 253,000 miles far from Earth. And then it comes back around on the 19th, and it will be 223,000 miles away. So it's making a big circle around the Earth. When it's at its furthest, that's the time to really start to focus on what are the things that I need to make myself feel better? What are the things I can do for myself? Not some outside thing, not some, somebody else is going to do something for you. It's all of the stuff that you need to do for yourself. So that starts on February 4th, and that goes through to the 19th. Now, there's some other interesting things happening with the moon all month. That's like from the beginning to the end. But on the 5th, we have a full moon. Full moon on February 5th is a time for culmination. That means things kind of wrapping up, reflection, looking at yourself and seeing what's going on, release, and gratitude. This is a good time to start thinking about all of the things that you are thankful for in your life and really figuring out how to celebrate those things because not everybody in the world has everything that you probably do. And so it's really time to understand what those things are and to appreciate them. On the 6th, the moon goes through Leo. On the 11th, it goes through Virgo. And on the 14th, Scorpio. So Scorpio is the star of St. Valentine's Day on February 14th. So for those of you Scorpios out there, it's an interesting day for you. It's very powerful. If you are dating and you're just getting to know somebody, a really good time for opening up. If you've been with somebody for a very long time, it's a really good time to figure out how things are and what needs to be done to create what you really want in the outcome. Um, those of you Scorpios who are not dating, not in a romantic situation, perhaps your career might be the thing that you're really focused on. That is your time leading up to that, figuring out what can I do to get to the next step? What are some small things even that you can do to reach that next level? February 20th, we're getting a new moon. The new moon is really about sensitivity and focus on outcomes of everything, anything that you're doing, projects, work, romance, relationships, a trip, plans for a trip, all of that kind of stuff. So the moon, as you can see, is really like featured throughout the month of February this year. And on the 22nd, we go into Venus in Pisces. So on the 22nd, Pisces, that's a really great time for love. If you're not someone looking for romance or love, it's a great time to really push for what you do want. February 25th, we're going into, let's see, well, the 26th, we go with Taurus. So Taurus is on the 26th. That's a big date. And then the Taurus constellation is also passed by the moon on the 28th. So it's kind of like an interesting time for Taurus. Things can kind of seem a little bit anxious and at the edge, it's like you're throwing a fashion show and you're like, is everything ready? So Taurus is, you might feel a little bit of anxiety, but it comes back around and you're fine after the 28th. So let's go through each of the signs for the month of February. Aries, family and social issues are huge for you at this time, especially over the next 2 weeks. This doesn't necessarily cover the entire month, it's just like from now, which is February 1st, and 2 weeks up until basically Valentine's Day. Family and social issues, just relax, try not to get overheated as you know you can, and realize that people are not against you. And if they are, that we know how you're going to turn around on them because Aries is not to be messed with. Okay, Taurus's creativity is going to increase over the next 2 weeks. So if you've been designing something for your home, wanting to do a painting, getting crafty, creating that charcuterie board for your upcoming event, that is the time right now and for the next 2 weeks. Gemini, economic and commercial issues coming up, not necessarily issues in a negative sense. Could be something that you just weren't expecting. A charge of some sort. Not necessarily a huge thing. These could be something small, but since you've always got so much going on, Gemini, just be aware that something could come out of nowhere, and it could be something to do with economics and or your commercial endeavors. Next, we have Cancer. Now, Cancer is the sign that's ruled by the moon. So, Cancers, you're going to be like a roller coaster this month, as if you already aren't, but you don't like people to know that. So, I know that. But just keep it together. Remember that all of this moon movement is what you're going to be feeling at the beginning of this month, starting right now. And for the next couple of days, actually, the next few weeks up until the 19th, you're going to be feeling that moon moving away from the earth. You're going to be feeling it going to its furthest point. And at the end of that, you might end up feeling a little bit lost. Don't worry, it's coming back, and you're going to also feel that movement back to the earth. And when that happens, you're going to start to get more and more and more confident in your emotions and in your feelings. So just really focus on that time of basically the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, that's when you're going to start to feel that coming back of good energy for yourselves and feeling more secure and confident. Leos. Leos, you're going to be tested this month, and for the beginning of the month, you could actually be taking tests. Those of you in school, things like that, you might be taking tests. You're going to do pretty well on it. Tests can come to you also in a spiritual way. You know, how does that relationship with your friend work? It will be tested. How is that relationship with that family member? It'll be tested. So just remember that sometimes you can go into yourself, Leo, and kind of block out everything around you. Try to stay open and aware at this time. It's going to help you, and it's going to help you with those different things that you're going to be tested on. Virgo, very lucky right now. Virgos have luck and are maintaining a great performance throughout, whether it's work, romance, friendship. Right now, Virgos are feeling really good. They happen to be the opposite sign of Pisces, too. So, as we go into Pisces, you're going to see a little bit more of that because the opposites, actually, the poles of those of that wheel, can actually work in your favor. And actually, seniors, Virgos, stay around the older people. Learn from what they're saying, as you like to do anyway. But really, listen to what the older people are saying. And at this time, it's a really good security kind of blanket for you to know that you're doing the right thing. Libras, for some reason, higher education is getting really big right now for you. You're either thinking about how do I continue on to that next level of understanding, whether it be academic or spiritual. You're also might be in for some long distance travel. Libras are right now planning, and probably because, especially if you're in the Northeast of the United States, you're feeling kind of cold right now, thinking about those palm trees and beaches. So, those types of things might come up. And you may profit in your endeavors and your investments coming up over the next few weeks. Next, we have Scorpio. Very important for Scorpios to get those daily tasks done. You're going to be going through some emotional ups and downs as well. We're going into a water sign. We're coming from Aquarius, which already acts upon Scorpio in a way that can be, anxiety inducing, let's say. So don't worry about it. You're one of those water signs. And once we get into Pisces at the beginning, or I'm sorry, in the middle of the month, you're going to feel that much more secure with your everything that's going on in your life. Next, Sagittarius, pleasant results of hard work are what comes around for Sagittarius. So keep the busy schedule going. You might be contemplating, how do I take away from this huge schedule? Don't do that. Stick with the schedule, do whatever it requires to get the work done. And things are going to look good for you coming up, especially over the next 2 weeks. Once we get into Pisces, which my next episode will be about, it's going to be much more of an intuitive time. So, right now, you Sagittarius might be feeling like things are good, things look good, but the feeling is a little bit off. Once we get into Pisces, you're going to really connect with what's going on. Capricorn, the new and important things in your life are the things that you need to be focused on. Anything that has happened or contributed to any type of anxiety, worry, um, you know, like since a year ago, that should be on the back burner. Everything new is what's really necessary for Capricorn, especially at this time. Once we get into that water sign, Pisces, Capricorn is going to start to also be one of the signs that really feels like things are kind of making sense and they allow that emotion to come in. But right now, it's very important to stay factual, to stay really focused on the reality of things, and those things that you have, you want to make sure that you focus on them and move on, not the things that have happened or the things that you wish you had. Only what you have, the factual things, and continue walking on through that. Next, we have Aquarius. It's a great time for Aquarians to get into their artistic side. So, if you're an Aquarius, you've been thinking about doing a project, a painting, trying some new method or type of creative aspect in your life, now is a really good time to do that. And also for Aquarius, victory right now in any type of endeavor that has to do with competition. Like I was saying earlier with Leo, right now is the time to really go for those things that you know that you're prepared for. You will come out the victor. So don't worry about that. Pisces, very important for you to be patient right now, especially in personal matters. As we get into your sign, and as the sun gets into your sign, things are definitely going to be a much more easy for you to deal with. You're definitely going to feel a little bit less like a lunatic. And you got to keep the emphasis on your relationships, whether that be romantic or friendship. Those things are going to provide immense amounts of comfort and safety for you until we get the sun into that sign of yours. And any type of selfishness, narrow-minded thoughts, make sure that if you have them, which you will, that you understand where they're coming from or that they are coming through, and that you can still remain open-minded and thoughtful of other people, even when your feelings are hurt and because you're so sensitive. But when we get into that point of Pisces, it's going to be a really good time to start creating new relationships, creating new things, even new jobs and places to live. So that is the entire reading for all of the signs for the beginning of February, our green comet and the moon. Also, there's another thing that Mars will be tonight, February 1st, and through to the 2nd. Mars is going to be visible in the sky for many people, I think in the Northeast and the Midwest. But you have to look it up. So we have our red planet, we've got our green comet. Basically, for the next couple days, the sky is sponsored by Gucci. So I'm all for it, and I can't wait to be looking up and seeing all kinds of cool stuff happening, and especially with our green comet in Philadelphia. If you are a Philly native and you're watching, go Eagles! And thank you guys so much for watching. Uh, Tune in for the next episode when we go through Pisces, and I think there's going to be some more interesting stuff going up in the heavens. So stay tuned and keep watching and keep looking up.